Hello, beautiful people and lovely souls. It is Joanna Stuffle here, and welcome to the first tea time of 2023. My goodness, we have come across, came over that threshold. Um, So, if you've been around a while, you've kind of known that I don't feel the new year at the new year. I don't even feel the new year at the lunar new year. It isn't until about the spring equinox that I feel like the new year has come. So, I'm starting to feel like spring is on its way. That's where the new year is during spring. So, I see that we have a couple of viewers. Hey, say hello in the comments. Drop a hello. Let me know that I'm not here alone. Not that I mind being here alone. You know that I can talk whether there's people here live with me or not. But I have so much more fun when I do have others here with me. So yes, I'm feeling settled in. Hello, Michael. So nice to see you. So nice to see you. Thank you for joining me today. So I'm drinking out of my beautiful Just Brew It cup, and I'm drinking some blueberry honey tea. It's a little bit cold still here in Ohio. In Northwest Ohio, we've had snow on and off still. As the old adage goes, if it comes in like a lion, it'll leave like a lamb. So I'm hoping and praying. Good. Yeah, so sweet to see. Well, see you in the chat, dear. Um, so I'm hoping and praying. Definitely the groundhog saw its shadow, and so we've had a longer winter. Uh, and I'm not liking it. I'm just, yeah, I'm ready to be out of the winter, out of the underworld. So if you tuned in to our musical motivation this week, I chose a song from Hades Town, the musical Hades Town. I've been really been in this like jabbing of like wanting to listen to musicals. If I put all different kinds of eclectic music in our choices for that. So, but I'm feeling like maybe I'll just be selecting songs from musicals. I always find that like musicals tell a story in such a beautiful way and so much passion, so much emotion in the words being sung. So, I'm a little bit early. Um, and I think I'm just going to walk us through, like, it's been a while. It's been a minute since I've done one of these lives. I'm really feeling called to today, really calling in grounding and centering us, connecting us to the above and below, and calling in the directions. So, take some time to maybe do a little stretch and get comfortable. If you can and feel comfortable putting your feet flat on the ground is really beneficial. So, placing your hands, touching your body, rubbing your body, and maybe if there needs a little extra love and attention. I love to place one hand on my heart, one on my womb, connect me into those centers. And we'll take our first breath, the breath of the past. So this is a free breath work that I love to do on these lives, love to do with my clients, and just really help to shift our energy in the matter of 3 breaths. So the first breath is the breath of the past. So anything that's not of service of this talk, of this time, of relaxation and just tuning in. We're just going to think about those things on the inhale and release them to the past on the exhale. Knowing that if we need that information at any point in time, that we can access any information from the past. We don't have to live there. So inhale and exhale. The next breath is the breath of the future. So anything that's on our never-ending to-do list, anything that is not information coming from the future that's not of service of this time and space, we're just going to think about those things on the inhale and release them on the exhale, knowing that we can pick them up when that future moment becomes the present moment. So inhale, exhale, and release. And finally, our breath of the present moment, the eternal now, the only true moment that we have. This is such a beautiful blessing to be here in this time and space, sharing this time and space with you, whether you find this while I'm doing this live or you find this on the replay. We welcome you in this present moment into this container. And then we call on Mother Earth, feeling your seat, connecting to where you are sitting right now, feeling your feet if they're on the ground, feeling connected into the surface, into this beautiful reality, this earthly plane, connecting into our mother, feeling held and nurtured and nourished by her. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let me call on the above with the source light, God, creator, whatever name, multiple names, whatever name feels comfortable for you. Calling on the support from above and allowing that light to touch the top of your head, also known as the crown chakra, and allowing that light to pour through your body, through your chakra system, throughout your body, and allowing it to just bless and create ease within your body, and a calmness and serenity. And I'm going to call on the direction of the east and the guardians of the east. The east is the direction of the mental realm, and we're just going to call on any clearing of the mental body to provide clarity to our visions. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Move on to the direction of south, an element of fire, and this is the action realm, the place of our heart and passion. So clearing any resistance of showing our passions, our creativity in the world. Any blocks to action, clearing those so that we can continue to walk the path forward, materializing our dreams. Moving on to the direction of the west and calling on the guardians of the west. Element of water, and this is represented in our emotional body. And we just ask the element of water to clear and cleanse our emotional body. Allow us to put our energy into motion with clear intent, like that of a beautiful, just crystal clear lake. That's the image that's coming up right now. So in having just a clear understanding of our emotions, calmness amongst our emotions, and great discernment in being able to move forward. Finally, we call on the earth element in the direction of the north and the guardians of the north. This is one of my favorite directions, being an earth-heavy person. I call on that of the north, and quite often darkness is associated with the north. I'm thinking of being in the earth, of the richness of the soil. There isn't really light when we are digging deep into the soil. And it is through our own light and our own desire to illuminate those places where it might feel scary, might feel dark and uncertain. When we bring our own light to that, we bring growth. We bring growth to those seeds that we have planted long ago into the soil. So we give it deep gratitude to all the directions, the above and the below. And I just call us back to center. Back to a clear, confident heart, passionate heart, visionary heart. Bringing forth the reality of our dreams. All right, well, come back in your own time. I know quite often when I lead in meditation, it takes a moment to come back. But it's been a minute. So, last live I did was in December. And during that time, I had a shit show kind of happen. A lot of things happened to me during that time. I lost my aunt, and she was the second aunt that I have lost this past year. And I was going through some grieving around, obviously, that, but then also some just my own grieving of a lost relationship. And it just was kind of a really tumultuous time of year, to put it delicately. And some of you know that I had a trial run of moving to Defiance, Ohio, and living in an apartment. Well, I could not coexist with my roommates there. They were partaking in the cannabis, and it's not conducive for my health. So, and last year was a big journey with looking at my health and being really committed to my health. And I was very kind of elusive about talking about my health and sharing the health struggles that I've had because I've had chronic illness. These are things that have finally have gotten some resolve, but I've been suffering since I was a child, since I was a teenager, um, and so yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. And so not this February, but the previous February, where I wasn't feeling the new year quite yet. I had went and got, basic blood work done and found out that I had an A1C of 11. And if you know anything about that, that's not great. Um, and I was really committed to diet and exercise and really looking at not even just on that, but also looking on an Eastern side of things, of looking at my emotions. Um, so if you know anything about Eastern medicine, Chinese medicine, diabetes can be tied to anger and resentment, and I dealt with a lot of that offline, um, and really looked at how I could release emotional stuff that I had been holding on for years. So I was definitely intent. My job was working on my process, because I was like, I'm done. Like, I'm done doing this in a small dose. So I greatly appreciate you understanding my inconsistency of showing up here. Um, and exciting news, my A1C is down to a 7.4 now, and where we want it to be is at a 6. But that's a big improvement for for somebody in a year. Um, but I was like, damn it, I'm committed. In the process of, of that, I also um, had been working through trying to find a gynecologist that I trusted and that actually wanted to listen to me. I quite often um, would get gynecologists who wanted to put me on birth control, and it was so frustrating. I was like, I know that there's a way for this, that I don't need to be on birth control, but there is a problem. Um, and I definitely, threw my hands up in the air quite a few times with gynecologists. But now I will say this, now I have a wonderful team, medical team, and a wonderful gynecologist who is very supportive of me doing alternative medicine. Um, and she's really, being a tool of diagnostic for me because I can't, unfortunately, do my own blood work. Um, and she's really, um, looks at that holistic piece. And I think really, in a lot of ways, addressing the diabetes has helped a lot with my dedication and some of the issues that I was having hormonally, because our bodies are such a delicate system that when one thing's thrown off, the other thing can get thrown off just as easily. And one of the things that had come through with being with my gynecologist is that we did a pelvic ultrasound and found out that I have fibroids, which is not fun. It's very painful. Mine are not very big, which is good, and we just did a second um, ultrasound here recently. They have not grown, which that's also really good. Um, but it sucks because it was a lot of um, undue pain and suffering that I had regarding that. And so we're making changes, getting on medication that's not birth control, but is really helping with that. And so, quite often, I don't know, maybe I felt ashamed, or because I've had issues so long with the things that I didn't want to like share that story. And particularly with the fibroids, like I would have heavy bleeds, like really heavy bleeds, and to the point that like I couldn't get out of bed. Sometimes with the hormonal problems that I was having, I would have menstrual migraines the week before. Um, and it wasn't a way of living, you know. And some of that stress can exacerbate that. Some of that can be diet and exercise. And so I made a conscious choice to try to move. Like, I felt like maybe now was time to move and have a dedicated practice, be a little bit more of a hermit, and try to come back to the community here. And it's funny, I listened to my and I don't, this is an oral practice that I don't do. I listened to my last live that I did at the apartment, and I was like, holy crap, even amongst all of whatever, that's the thing, right? Chaos. I mean, we talk about chaos there all the time. Like, amongst all the chaos, like, you still produce something very beautiful, Joanne. Like, and I think that I was really doubting myself because I had taken so much time away. And it was hard sometimes to, like, wanting to be back in community, wanting to lead again, wanting to teach again. Um, and yet my symptoms weren't stable. And so it was like, to plan anything, God, to even try to plan something was really hard. Um, and so I just, at a certain point, I gave myself permission to have sabbatical and, like, do a lot of behind the scenes work. And there's some really great things that are going to be coming forward. And following my passions for me, I've been doing a lot of painting. You can see behind me. I have been doing a painting retreat. This one is called Cosmic Mother. And the first painting was this, and this was originally going to be my background to paint this beautiful lady on top of. And I woke up this morning and I was going to paint with another sister. Um, we decided that we had both not weren't able to attend the retreat live, so we were like, let's paint together. And I get on the call and I told her, said, you know, I'm being called to pull out a different canvas. I already painted a cosmic-y kind of background. I feel like it's supposed to be a 3-panel um, series. And so she's like, you know what? I had the same damn thing come forward too. She's like, I don't want to paint over this. And she's like, but I know that I'm supposed to. I said, well, the community that we're part of, it's called Rebel Heart Creatrix Mind. And we're like, well, we're supposed to be rebels to us, Um, because this one just came forward of, like, really needing the cosmos be formless and then coming into form. And I don't know what the third panel is going to be. She is yet to emerge. So that's kind of where I've been painting, been moved back. It sucks. I moved to Defiance in October, mid-October. Started moving stuff in. Was trying to do a slow move. Unpacked. Was enjoying the apartment for the most part. And then, like, as the winter got colder, you know, they weren't ventilating in their apartment. I think that they were just smoking in their and it was coming into my space. It was coming into my dedicated workspace. Um, and so I was like, I can't do meetings. I can't do my lives in this space. I only did one live in my office space. So we got somebody knocking on the door. So I am going to go see who that may be. I'll be right back. Enjoy my paintings in the process.
Hello, this is for you guys.
Okay, thank you. Yep. All right, back I am to our beautiful tea time. That was the guy from from uh, the plumbing and heating. We had our furnace go out. I'm like, dude, can we just be over the winter? I'm ready. I'm ready. Um, so yeah. So where was I at? Talking about the apartment. Yeah, so moving there and then moving back here, and, like, it gave me some perspective, leaving, and it gave me a lot of perspective as, my aunt passed too, of, like, knowing that, like, my parents aren't going to be around forever. And, You know, just a lot of like looking at what I want out of life. So the last talk that we did, I talked about Thomas Keating, um, his lecture that he did that we read when I was in a religious studies class in my undergrad. And the two questions are, who am I and where do I belong? And I thought I had an answer for that in December, October, November, December. And then I realized, you know what? Uh, the the things that I thought, or the places where I thought I belonged, it was only short term. And I'm really excited. I've been really exploring my home community more and some different opportunities here for myself. I'm looking to really do some creativity. That's something that came forward in this last year of like I am an artist. Like that is part of my identity. That is part of who I am. Um, and I think I was really nervous to share that in my community. I'm like, but this is my community. Like, I mean, of course, it's your community too, and you participate in it. But this is part of my like mysticness is through painting. Um, and I don't know. I think that some of like who I am in this like storyteller and this teacher role, like I pref like have preferential treatment towards having um words, you know, like words a lot. Um, but I think what came through, especially last year, was like symbol. Signs and symbols came through for me, and I just painted a lot of different symbols. And it's like, and that means different things to other people, but there's also just some sort of connecting thing that um, words just don't have. I'm very much a linguist. I'm very much a wordsmith. Love language. Love vocabulary. Mom and dad would probably chuckle in hearing that because quite often there's a conversation of like, why are you using that word? I'm like, because it expresses exactly what I mean. But there is definitely a simpler synonym for that word. Um, but it doesn't get to the essence of what I mean. Um, but really looking at not only so like there is this piece of my creativity that's coming out in painting and in symbol, and then there's creativity that's coming out in even more authorship, writing. Um, I just felt too like for a while I didn't know what to say, like verbally. I didn't know what to say in my writing, you know. But writing this week's musical motivation, I was like, the song is perfect. This is just exactly what I needed, and I hope you of like we're emerging. Like Aries season is coming up, I believe, on the 20th, so like about 4 days from now, and then 22nd, 23rd will be the equinox. And so it's like one of the things that like really has touched me all along is like hope springs eternal. Like the hope for spring. Like it always comes. Like it always there's always a resurrection, there's always a rebirth that happens at this point in time. Regardless of what like tradition that you follow, there's it's written in all of them. you know. And so I feel like don't know. I just and it's a piece of I think that Aries energy is this like readiness, readiness to just have whatever's supposed to emerge this year to emerge this year. I have a few like intentions in regards to that, and definitely some things in the works um, that are going to be birthed and bring forward, but I'm not rushing the process. I think that's something I learned last year was that plans change. Plans change, most definitely. Um, and I've gone through these cycles enough to know that, like, at the baseline, if I can just trust and surrender to the unfolding as much as possible, and of course, communicate with spirit of like what my intentions are and what I want to call in, and do the work that is blocking me from having that come in. Life is glorious. Like it really is beautiful. Sometimes I feel like so wise beyond my years, and then sometimes I feel like such a novice, such a fool. Um, and I think that's part of the beauty of life, right? So we get to learn and unlearn and relearn. So I'm not seeing any other comments coming in. I don't know if Michael had left us, um, but I welcome any feedback. Anything that's touched you in my sharing. I do feel like I do feel very vulnerable today about sharing some of that. I came woke up this morning, did not have the start of the day that I anticipated. And I had thought that I was going to spend time channeling some sort of message, um, talk, yeah, like have something prepared. And half the time I do, and half the time I don't on these damn lives. But this one, like, my morning, I ended up having a conversation with somebody who um, I hadn't been in touch with for a while, and it was more important, really, to have some honesty and transparency and conversation of like why we stopped talking. Um, and so I was like, you know what? Spirit will lead me, guide me in whatever's meant to come through. I think quite often I have anxiety of like, am I saying anything meaningful? Am I even saying anything meaningful? Pain shared is pain tapped. Amen. Amen to that. And so I think part of it's just like adrenaline. Like I do. I just need to sit down with myself. I'm like inner critic can fuck the fuck off. Like because I know I have like pulling back from that critic and not letting the critic be the lead. That's a thing too. Like I lived so much of my life of allowing my inner critic to be the lead. Um, then I'm like, at this point, I'm like, fuck you. Like, I mean, yes, you serve your purpose, and there are times when I need to be critical of the moves that I'm making, but not 24/7, not 365. And I think that I wasn't being so critical of me as a person. I was being critical of my illness. I was being critical of the work that I was doing in the world. Um, And it's like, at a certain point, it's really hard. And that's what's circling back to the Keating conversation of like, who am I? You know, and I think I said this in the last chat, and I'll just reiterate it if I did, and if not, it's new. Um, but like, it's hard to say like what I do in the world because I do different work for different people every day. And I think that was a big struggle that I was having because I just really meet people where they're at and see where their pain is and try to, try to have it as much as I can. You know, one of the other things that was really sorry, I'm distracted by my paint not being in order down here. um, one of the other things when I was in graduate school that was really profound, and I think I did a live on this past year about what theological world I was part of, and I was so resistant to being what is called World Five, which is the suffering world. Um, and I think I kind of skewed some of my answers on the test, to be honest. Because I was like, that's my old world. I don't want to be part of that world anymore. So nice to see you, Jen. I'm talking about pain and suffering in the world. Uh, and so I had I had skewed my answers, maybe I don't know, and had been placed in a different world. I can't even remember at this point, but we had to do a group project, and and I was so close between this other world and the suffering world. And my professor's like, we don't have enough people in the suffering world. You got to be part of it. You got to present on this. And we did a group presentation, and it was a really profound experience. And I shared poetry in that class, and that was one of the things too is that like I've never really shared a lot of my poetry out loud because a lot of my poetry was to work through my pain, and I'm like, I don't want to trigger anybody. I don't, and I think that's also why I didn't want to share any of the stuff publicly is because it's like I don't want anybody to feel sorry for me. I don't want anybody um to be triggered by my own pain. Like that's the thing is that I think one of the things that I try to be so mindful is like, yes, I see suffering in the world, and then try to do my best to help, have it and, and make people be able to have a persevering spirit through it. Um, but I don't want to contribute. Like I don't want to contribute to suffering, and I think that there are some ways that you know, in reflecting on certain things where I have contributed to other people's suffering out of selfishness and out of yeah, just I think out of some wounding as like to hurt somebody else because I've been hurt. And I think that's a lot what happens in the world. My alarm's going off for my affirmation. Affirmation for my 3-3 is I create beauty every day. So that's a message for you. It's nice to see you, Michael. Thank you for stopping in. Blessings to you too. Um, Jennifer, how are you? What is the new year bringing for you? What does the new you look like? Because I shared before you came on that there is this just divine trust of the unfolding, and who I'm supposed to be in any given moment is who I'm supposed to be. Yeah. I also shared, I think, before you came on too, I was gonna channel a message. I was gonna like do what I used to do, not just come on and wing it. And then my morning was not what I anticipated it to be. And I was to serve elsewhere and get some answers for myself and provide some answers and have a real hard conversation. To be present. I love that. I love that. You're really good at that, Jen. You really are. Your presence is always welcome, always beautiful. I was also sharing before you came on. I've been working on this beauty today. I met with a beautiful sister who says she's going to watch the replay. So, hello, Brittany. Thank you for sharing painting time with me today. Anybody who catches this, I am going to be doing doing a similar painting retreat next weekend. And I'm gonna put the link in if you're interested in joining me. It's a 3-day retreat with my painting mama. Um, it is her Hawaiian retreat. And if you sign up for the retreat, I get some kickback on it for anybody who joins through the special link that is in my yes. So this is the series that I'm doing is it's called Cosmic Mother. So she is eternal. I was sharing that we had done cosmic painting of just doing the background as one session, and then Brittany and I were starting the other one, and we looked at each other and I said, there's something about this background that does not want to be painted on. And I said, I started a second canvas. She's like, I was being told the same thing, but she's like, I was like, but I meant to paint on the, I was like, we'll just be rebels and do what we need to do. So we pulled out second canvases and started. And so we are about halfway through the process. So she will be emerging. She'll probably be guest star for our next tea time. I don't know what I'm going to talk about next tea time. This is the thing. I've really, this past year, really have just like done this understanding of surrender. Yeah, exactly. That's what I told Brittany. And then we got into the process, and she's like I had a resistance, and then the instructor had said you can erase something. You don't because when your paint's wet, you can definitely just take like a wet cloth and wipe it off because we're working in acrylics, and so she's like the instructor wiped off her thing. Brittany wiped off something off her paint. She's like, it's just not supposed to be there. But she's like, I was gonna just trust the process and leave it, but it's not supposed to be there. I was like, well, you can always erase something if it really is telling you not to be there. Um, but yeah, she's emerging. I love her already. Like, and I feel like this is like the most ugly like phase. It's called the color blocking, and where you just pick a couple colors and you do whatever. Um, it's not intentional that that's what color she's gonna be when I get done with her, but who knows? But I'm like, so I don't know. I don't know if the paintbrush is gonna come out for a minute. She might stay at that stage. It's hard. So this is a 13-step process that we are walked through, And I'm like, sometimes I'm like, I like it just like when we don't have to do like, the other pieces. But then when I get done with the whole dang thing, I absolutely love it even more. So that's why I always take pictures along the way. So at least as she's emerging, I get to enjoy every layer of her. Um, yeah, I keep up this this type of painting, and it's just amazing. I know, Jen, you've done it a couple of times, been part of Amber's retreat. It's just really powerful, and it's not just a painting retreat. Um, so the title of it this year is called Creativity Unleashed, and they do all different types of things to really bring you into your creative spirit. And that's the thing, is that, I would have never considered myself a painter or an artist before doing one of these retreats. And it's a very step by step process. Hi, Michelle. Nice to see you. I'm talking about painting retreat that I'm going to be doing next weekend. And I'm working on a painting retreat that I missed. And I was painting with another sister. And so this is the new one that's emerging. So nice to see you, love. Um, so yeah, so the step-by-step process. Yeah, I'm loving what Jen's saying here. So much of a process of letting go to let her emerge. It's dancing, meditation, sacredness, and amazing. Yeah. And so I put in the chat, I think I can pin that. Let me see if I can pin the link for the retreat. So if you are interested in joining this painting retreat, it is a step-by-step process. The 13 step process. It's unfortunately it's just for women. I mean, I think that you could do the process, but the retreat is just for women. Um, 13 steps. I will say that 13 steps, and Amber includes dance and meditation, a lot of Hawaiian mythology and Hawaiian connection to the land. Um, it's a really amazing retreat. I've met a lot of amazing people at it, and I don't know if you caught this, Jen, and I'll just reiterate this for you too, Michelle, is that if you do sign up for the retreat, and if you can't come live, that's fine. You can come live for as much as, but I think it's 3 days this time. Usually it's, I think, a 2-day retreat. Um, but come as much as you can, and they have art doctors to help you if you like feel like anxious about something. And if you sign up for it, I get to be blessed for introducing this to you all, so I get a little portion of the fees. But you can also watch it on the replay. So if you sign up for it, can't come at all, you can have the process to go through. I just absolutely love it. This one will be, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'll be painting. Well, so this one this one is still a work in progress. This is one that I started doing for my move. So this one's still a work in progress too, about what home is to be. But that's my focus this year, is what is home and what is family. So she might not get done until December. Um, but so then it'll be the sixth one that I will, right? Sixth one I'll be painting next weekend. So, but I love it. I love It's such just a heart opening experience. You're right. It's so much like traveling to Hawaii. So if you for a very big fraction of cost. um, and the first time that I did it, because Jen, you came to that one. I missed the whole first day because I had been so sick, and I was like, "Damn it! I wanted to do this retreat, and I wanted to do it with Jen." And I was just like, "Dang it," you know. And so I woke up middle of the night. I had some fever and it broke, and I was like, "You know what? one of the times I created something, one of the most beautiful things for a school project. I was sick as heck, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna work through whatever I'm working through. So I did the whole first day of retreat. It was a marathon session, and then joined in. Like I took a short nap, and then joined in for the retreat. And my goodness, she's beautiful. She's in my mom's bedroom right now, blessing her with harmony and balance. But I did a real small one because you're supposed to use a big canvas like this. But I used just a small square one like my daisy. I'm dropping crystals on the floor. But I did it. I did her small. I did her on a little one like this. But let's see. What days? I had these paintings were falling off of the thing. I'll put Daisy in the middle. Oh yeah. Jen says you did it. You went into creative mode. Yeah. She she came, that one came forward with such a beautiful crown. And it was such a beautiful experience for me because I met one of my beautiful sisters, Day Lee, who's part of our group, and oh yeah, I'm in PJs. Comfort today. It's so cold out, Jennifer. So cold. These are my frozen. Got little Olaf on them. It is so cold. The snow is. You missed it, I think. The heating guy came in. Our furnace went out. Like, and we're just at that point. We're at the like so close to not having to have the heat on. And it's like one day is warm, one day is cold, one day's got snow, and then it's thawing. I'm like, can we just like spring come already? I know Jen will be excited to hear this. I've already had a bunny sighting. So if you've never heard that story, oh my gosh, it's gotta been like 5, 6 years ago now. One year I was taking the trash out, um, and I was like, there's these two little baby buns just like sitting right where the trash was. And I was like, oh my gosh, these baby bunnies are sitting in our yard. And so, like, I got my phone out, Googled, was like, what am I supposed to do? And they're like, don't touch them. The mom, if the mom has found a safe space for them, they'll put them out, even out in the open. But if they feel like it's safe, and I was like, okay. And then from then on out, I think their burrow is in our backyard. But after that, I've seen, and I swear it's the same bunnies. I don't know, maybe it's not, but they're relatives at least. But see bunnies out in the neighborhood when I go on my magic walks. And so I'm like, well, there's my abundance. Them buns are coming. So I mean, that's my sign that spring is here when the buns come out and start frolicking. I'm just like, ugh. Like, we started up putting stuff out back to our compost pile, and I'm like, I don't want to keep walking back in the snow. I'm like, I'm just ready for it. I can just like run out back there and drop the stuff in the back. Oh, if you can't tell, winter's not my favorite time of year. Even though it's associated with the direction of the north. And so, somewhere I think I have Viking blood, but there's also a part of my blood that is not Viking and does not like winter. Does not want to be any part of it. I just want to be a child of the sun and the moon. This cold stoking. Ugh. I feel like the birds got it right. Flying flying south for the winter. I don't know. I used to laugh at all them snowbirds, all them people who lived up here in Ohio and would go down to Florida, and I'm like, the more that I age, the more that I'm like, they're on to something. They're on. I'm like, I can deal with winter for like 2 weeks and then I'm over it. I can deal with snow for like 2 weeks. Give me snow during solstice and Christmas, and then I'm done. Then I'm like, I don't know how you deal with it, Jen, up in Canada, because you'll have snow for how much longer? You'll have it maybe until till April. Yes, love them buds. I'm telling you, if you haven't seen Jen's picture, she got Snow Queen picture. She's out there frolicking around in a dress. I'm like, you are such a Canadian guy. I'm like, I can't. I'm not. I'm sitting in the house. And normally I like to sit around in shorts and a tank top, but it is a little bit nippy in the house now. I can deal with it. Mom's really cold. She's got a space heater on in her bedroom heating that up because she likes sauna kind of weather. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm seeing two twos, 22 comments, two viewers, two reactions. I love it. You know me, my angel numbers. So that's what we're doing this week. Is if you want to join me for the retreat, the link is in the comments. If you do not want to do that, no pressure. Um, I've got other things that are going to be rolling out, like I said, um, but no pressure. I know that Michelle has bugged me. I need to get back on the train of finishing up the gateways. I'm about partway through Gateway 2, so we will. I was hoping to release them one a month, and I do know that's not going to happen, but I do know that by the end of spring, the second Gateway will be out. I can't put that out there. Um, but yeah, and I've got some speaking engagements, so I will be posting those in the group. I'm gonna be on other playgrounds and other platforms. I'm going to be doing I think a LinkedIn one here in April. So if you want to join that, if not, it will be on. If you don't want to join live or don't have a LinkedIn page, that's fine. I strongly, if you are in business though, would suggest getting yourself on there. Um, what was I gonna say? There is a replay that will be on YouTube, so I will link that to my YouTube page. Link it here. If you want to hear me talk about, I don't know. I don't know. I think that the topic is going to be about mm, some sort of bold message. I will say in my working with Amber, she's doing a 40-day uncensored, and she's been saying some stuff, but I've been like, me too. I don't know that I'm gonna join in the 40-day piece, but speaking some truths, and for those that um didn't catch the beginning, I shared a lot about diagnosis with my health and but I think both of you have been keeping up with me over the past year, so you know where I'm at with that. But there was definitely some struggle in sharing some of that. I had slated for us to stay until 4:30. I don't know if there's anything that y'all want to talk about. I'm not really feeling like there's much more than I want to talk about. But you know me, you get me talking on some sort of topic. Um, oh, that's not true because I said that I was going to talk about Persephone and Hades, or Pluto is the other name for Hades, in the underworld. Um, and so I'll say this, like my first interaction of Persephone was a couple years ago, actually. So I have a love and understanding of all different mythologies, but I think for my like youngest self, just loved Greek and Roman mythology a lot. Like when we started going over that stuff in school, I just like ate it up, just kept eating it up, and then like even now, like in my dive into astrology, it's like, well, that's all just bringing it full circle. But I think the piece that really touched me when I was learning about Persephone, so she's more of a dark goddess. Um, and her story is that she grew up with her mom, Demeter, which is she's like a mother goddess of the land. Um, and what happened is Hades, the god of the underworld, was looking for a lover. And he fancied Persephone. And what had happened is he depends on what version that you listen to. He essentially like kidnapped her, like and brought her down into the underworld. And what happened, and this is really just to, like what Demeter's role is to kind of describe how our seasons change. And so what happened is she was upset that she no longer had her daughter. And so winter came, and she was not going to let up. And so then all the humans were going to starve, obviously, if there was no growing season. And so Hades did a deal with Demeter and said, 6 months you get your woman, you get your daughter back, and the other 6 months I get her back. And so there's this piece that I think that's really kind of important in the Demeter situation is that, or not Demeter, Persephone situation is that like there's a time for doing and frolicking and playing. And then there's a time to go into the underworld and really look at what's hidden underneath. The underworld is that place of the conscious and or the unconscious and the subconscious. And so this dance of like knowing our seasons, knowing where we're at, knowing what we need. And I do. I feel like my time away, I was in the underworld quite a bit, sussing out things that were just really limiting beliefs and stories that I told myself. In a sense, I think because it was comfortable. It was more comfortable to be limited, to live small, to not follow my dreams, to not take risks because shit, that shit can be scary. But I think what I've learned and what's coming forward for me is that it's scarier to stay small, to not pursue the things that have been in my heart all along. Um, one time over the summer, I had been on a new medication, um, and I was wanting to be out in the sun. I was wanting to be Persephone playing in the sun and enjoying all the weather and all of this. And I started a new medication, and I had this knowing that like this was not right for me. It was an aggressive medication. There was stipulations that if you had certain health issues, that if you took this, like it was like contra, um, you shouldn't take it if you've ever had pancreatitis. So I never knew if I had or hadn't. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to take it. But I had this knowing, I'm like, I don't think I should take this medication. But in June, I did. I ended up in the ER, dehydrated, with a pancreatitis attack. I literally thought I was dying because I was in so much pain and so much of like my blood pressure was up, like it was going up and down and whatever. And I think I was also giving myself panic attacks over the whole situation. But you never know, type thing. And that was a wake up call for me. It was like, okay, like yes, you need to be committed to getting your numbers down, but you don't need to be doing it so aggressively. Because I think I told myself essentially like we are not staying at an 11. Well, we didn't. We dropped really really fast. It got the right medication. Um, oh, I'm so grateful for you. Oh, I'm so grateful that you are you. I think I think I said that in the last tea time. If you haven't checked that one out, it was a good one. I was saying early on in this chat, I was like, I don't ever listen to my chats, never. Like I just do it, and it is what it is. But something this like past week or so, I'm like, I need to listen to the last chat. And I think in the last chat I said, I am what I am. And that is what I am for the day. Like at this point, it's really hard to be like, this is what I am, claiming any of that. Because it changes. The roles change. And I think because I don't attach, and it's a weird thing, like to detach from like the roles, but I think we over identify. And that this is also like just, I don't know, it may be too heady. It may be too philosophical. Let me know. But like I think too in the medical profession, you know, is something that I've really looked at in regards to like narrative and looking at diagnosis of like how we talk about our diagnosis. It can become an identity, whether it's mental health diagnosis or if it's a medical diagnosis. It's just like, mm, yeah. I think that's why I didn't want to become a therapist. Because I did not want to hand somebody a diagnosis and have that become their identity because I've seen it happen so many times. So many times that, like, I am fill in the blank. And it's like, that's not who you are in your identity. Whew, entirety. Let the words come through. But that's not necessarily who you are in your identity. It's not wanting to come through. In your entirety. So I'm going to slow down. Entirety. Um, and I think that's part of something that's come to me in my own self exploration is that, like, if I don't like some part of me, I can address it and I can, I was talking about the inner critic, I can ask her not to take the lead. you know. Not some days having something that a piece of me that is critical, it can get some shit done. It can hold me accountable and make me do shit. But then it also can make me not do shit. That's my 404 alarm, which says I am safe and my family is protected. So sending those blessings to you too. Um, but yeah, that's where the ramble has gone to for today. anything else that's like coming up? Anything coming forward that for you in your own self discovery, your own new you, your own new year? Like, what is the that's my question. What is the first 3 months of the first? I mean, I don't call it my first quarter. I call it my last quarter because I always feel like there's shit that hangs over from the year before in the first 3 months. It does. It just it to me. It just feels like poke. Like it's funny. When I was a kid, I was always called Pokey Joe. It's kind of slowly going around. But yeah, the first 3 months I feel like Pokey Joe. I'm like, I ain't got the motivation to do shit. And half of, if I got any motivation, it's putting out fires that were from earlier in the year, earlier in the last year. You know, I'm starting to feel that energy of newness. Like I tell you, I mean, I mark the new year. I mark the lunar new year, but it doesn't feel New Year's until spring equinox. I mean, even Imbolc doesn't feel like. I mean, it's the first celebration of spring, and yes, you can. It depending on where you live, you can see the first signs of spring. But like, I'm not seeing flowers that are coming out. I mean, I guess I don't have the right kind of flowers planted that are supposed to emerge in the first signs of spring or whatever. Like, I ain't got the desire for that. You know. Well, I am feeling somewhat complete. So I am going to wrap this up. Trying to think if there's any other announcements. Just Amber's retreat this next weekend. Be on the lookout. I'm going to start posting more in the group. I do not know when the next time I will be doing a live. Got a lot of different appointments going on here recently. So, I think I had mentioned on the last live that, like, I don't know if I'm going to do weekly. I don't know if I'm going to do monthly. I don't know. Who knows? I might do only quarter. I'm like, I'm feeling into this energy of, like, I don't know. I can be okay with not knowing shit. Can we be in that energy? There's so much in my life of like needing to know everything, so it's new. It's different. Um, yeah. I promise you, I'm thinking of you. I promise you that I'm praying for you. That I am grateful for you. Um, we'll see. We'll see what comes rolling out the next month or so. You know. Like I said, exciting stuff. I do have a speaking engagement that's going to be coming up, and like I said, I'll link it in here. Let you know beforehand if you want to join me on LinkedIn. I'm working on my profile right now, getting that all up to you know up to snuff so that I can connect with people there. and I will be downloading this video. I have been talking about it for a minute of YouTube, and I am going to download this video and upload it. I am There's a piece of me that was afraid to do this. Um, but I'm ready. I'm ready for expansion. That's what 2023 is going to be. Is expansion of my community. Um, so that's where we're at. Um, have a blessed week, and until we meet again, peace and 10,000 blessings. Until we meet again, namaste. Thank you for joining live. Thank you for joining on the replay. And if you do join on the replay, type in hashtag replay. Comment up a storm. You know that we all love that here. And I will get back to you very soon. Very soon. Mwah. Bye, sweeties.